Welcome to the DSQ podcast with Blake Lawson and Dakota Reynolds.
All right, let's speed run this podcast like they sped run that Grand Prix. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Fastest Grand Prix we'll have probably all year at least, maybe for the rest of the decade.
Yeah, well worth waking up for, right? Right?
Totally.
Anyway, welcome back to DSQ.
Hi.
Japan.
Bum bum ba-da-dum.
Come on and slam. I probably made the same joke last year. Start of the episode. Yep, it was a interesting weekend to say the least. Probably reverse of practice was interesting and then nothing else was.
Yeah.
Of course, the big news, of course, the Red Bull swap. If you want to know our thoughts, we did do a podcast on an off week last week, finally. So go listen to that if you want to know my kind of incoherent and stringing together of an episode. More so. It's probably what more it was. Anyway, we're here in... We're not here in Japan. They're there in Japan. Actually, they're probably not there in Japan anymore.
Oh, no. Max has already touched down in Bahrain.
Yep. Got to get that sim race again. But of course, we did big. We talked about the big story of that. Just getting right into it. Unless there's anything you want to preface for. Everybody had special helmets. They were all pretty good.
They were fire.
Two special liveries this week, and damn, did they fucking nail it.
Oh, yeah, no. They cooked with those.
I'm going to go and put the unpopular opinion that Red Bull's was a little better than Haas's. I don't know. Haas's render looked good, but on track it didn't look near as cohesive, but Red Bull's was just...
Listen to this graphic designer over here. Yeah, no, Haas all the way. That was fantastic, but Red Bull's was still fire.
Yeah. Well, listen, they could have done a little more red, a little less red. They could have made it all work.
It's the team color.
Yeah, but... Full commit. Yeah, special livery for Max, and we know that means P1 apparently. They canceled all their special liveries last year. Maybe they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely kick-ass liveries. Let's move on to the weekend. Did I put it on this page or last page? It's on this page. World famous Suzuka. Yuki's home race.
Woo.
One of the most, well, let's foreshadow for later. One of the most well-regarded races in history for Formula One. Did do some changes. The entirety of Sector 1 was repaved, and they added six new gravel traps. So trying to cut down on track limits, which, I mean, there was only one issue, and it wasn't a gravel trap problem, so obviously maybe the biggest area, that's Degna 2. Also, it wasn't noted on there, but they also did that kind of negative curb is what they're calling it. So on Degna 2, for sure, they added that. So a couple changes. A lot better than last year's China repave. Worked out better for them. Or worked out better for Japan. I am not in this episode.
Apparently not.
I am just out of it. Yep, so some new stuff. Worked out pretty well. And by that I mean no one went off and sent it for a while.
For a good second.
Yep. Let's get into FP1. God, I'm really not. You might have to leave this one because I'm not doing it. We did have our first rookie session, or junior driver-ish. He's not a full junior. I never went back and did how to pronounce his last name like I was going to.
Let's do this on the fly. Pull up the Formula One.
I got it. It's Ryo Hirakawa. I got it.
You have the actual name on there?
Nope. I finally remembered how to pronounce it on broadcast.
Wonderful. Good job.
Hirakawa. Probably a little pronunciation Americanized bullshit in there, but he was filling in for Jack, which is an odd call, really. Jack still being very much a rookie who needs all the time in the car he can get. And that's even before FP2, which we'll get to. But so apparently it was supposed to be. Well, let's back up. Obviously, this was Ryo's a home race, so definitely getting in there. That being said, RB, of course, last year took out Danny Rick for Awasa. Did not do it this year, so figured that, brand new to the car, Liam, and third race rookie definitely needed their practices in, so I'm sure we'll see Awasa later this season.
Woo.
But it was originally supposed to be Pierre, allegedly, sitting out this FP1 session for him, but Pierre allegedly asked and wanted to try something specific in FP1, and apparently worked out well. Maybe not so much in the results, but I don't know. This is all legends and buts, but F1 or the F1 rumors are always true and accurate, right? So your first junior-ish, 31, 2 kids, has already won something.
The rookie swap in.
But free practice 1, not so much happening in that one too much. God, I feel like anybody else in this episode is just already gone.
I mean, this race was kind of a yawn fest anyways. I was like, fucking spoiler alert, this race was kind of boring.
Yeah.
Do we have fires yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Everything's calm.
Well, we may have had one.
Maybe at the end.
Yeah. No, because it was a little bit later, actually, yeah. Carlos missing his pit box. We found out the biggest thing. Forgetting he drove for Williams, which I'm sure he wishes he could. Forget he's driving for Williams.
Carlos Sainz, driver for Williams.
Yeah, just not a whole lot. Just people getting a hold of their next track. Of course, the big swaps. Yuki, a 10th off of Max. Max in P5, Yuki in P6 after the first session of the weekend.
Everyone on full hopium right now.
Yep. Full, just hidden that hopium pen. Lawson, P13, Isaac Hadjar, P8, and Kimmy, so I wanted to say this because it matters. Kimmy speeds in the pit lane by 0.9 kilometers.
But limits there for a reason.
Yep. Doesn't matter if you break it by 0.9 or 13. Foreshadowing. I don't think I actually wrote that down on here.
Yeah. Man, that was Sainz, right?
Yes.
So Sainz is just all over it this weekend. Like, he did so much.
He was in that. Him and the stewards were, but he might as well had a seat for him in the stewards' tent or whatever.
It's like he was straight up in jail this weekend.
Yep. Anyway, free practice 1, whatever. There's one thing I did want to note, and I'll mention it here because I noticed it during FP1. So everybody has the tire covers, correct?
Yep.
It's all kind of color based. Red or just gray or blue or has chevrons or whatever.
Yeah.
The closest one we have to a sponsor is just the chrome colored, primaries and
From
green on McLaren. Racing Bulls V-Carb had XM Trading on their thing. I was like, that's the first more official sponsor, obviously the chrome one, but it's still just colors.
Yeah.
And of course you can't read that at speed, so I thought it was kind of stupid. But I was like, okay, there we go. There's the sanctity of that not getting a full sponsorship is now gone. So I would expect to see more sponsorships on the wheel covers now.
Fun.
Woohoo.
At least make them look good.
Yeah,
like
just,
the chrome one kind of makes sense. That's kind of cool and whatever. Yeah. Don't just fucking
throw the XM Trading logo.
Yeah, no.
In an arc around.
Make it make sense.
Yeah. So I just want to point that out because boo, hiss, fart, gross. Free practice 2. This is where things get interesting and stops being interesting. Straight out the gate. So of course Jack Doohan not partaking in FP1. Just fully sends it, the most fully you could possibly send a car into turn 1. 52 minutes in, our first red flag is he has one of the worst crashes I've seen live. It did not look good.
It did not look pleasant at all. I was like, I didn't even get to see it live, but I've seen all the replay of it. It sucks.
Yeah. So goes into turn 1, still going flat out, does not turn off his DRS, because if you don't break into that, I guess you have to manually disable it. All these new things we're learning as not drivers, and yeah, just so much speed. 50 Gs, I believe.
50 Gs.
Yeah. Car is gone. If they reuse that chassis, that's a miracle. I haven't heard of, but they managed to get it rebuilt.
They did change out the survival cell, so I'm guessing no, they don't reuse that chassis.
Yep, so brand new car.
That chassis is being sent off to the FIA to see where they can learn from the safety issues.
Yep. Congratulations, your case study now, Jack.
Exactly.
Yeah, at least your crash might help the safety of the sport. I mean, obviously pretty safe. Sorry, I'm in the squeaky show this week. Because he did walk away.
He did walk away.
Into the medical car, but he did walk away.
Yeah, more on that later.
Yep, he is okay. Just freak thing. Well, freak thing, I don't know. Allegedly, he tried it in the simulator and it was fine. So there's some correlation that is not checking out for the Alpine team. Might want to look into that. And note to all drivers, don't do that. Don't go full as much as you can.
Do not full beans it into turn 1 with the DRS open at Suzuka.
That was an Alpine, too. Imagine if it was like a McLaren or
yeah.
like that full straight line. But in a much interrupted session, FP2 is. That was the first one, but it took about 20 minutes, so 30 minutes of running on the resumption for that. And then about 5 minutes later, we have another rookie, Fernando Alonso. Just a simple loses it. Did I put the turn on here? I did not. I thought it was 7 maybe, but I could be wrong. He just beaches it. Just stuck in the gravel.
What can he do?
I don't know. Be better. Well, maybe the other Aston Martin driver falls better than that. Sorry for that. I hit the book against the microphone. That was a pretty quick one. I don't have the resumption time on there. George Russell, in the meantime, after the resumption, really upset with how slow people are going. Weaves in and out of the lanes, kind of goes in the out part. Nobody gets on him because he is George Russell British, so no. Even though every single person got told to about the start lane,
the fast
pit
lane
lane
versus
practice
working
starts.
lane, yeah.
They even had pit boxes, and everybody ignored that. Luckily, nobody. It was just like, hey, pay the fuck attention. And blah, blah, blah. Let's get to the good part. 13 minutes left. We get a red flag, and oh, there's a grass fire. Hi, China last year. Welcome back. Yep, they get it put out, and then right as the session was ending, we had another one. And this was probably the biggest of them all because it went.
Yeah.
Like, it was like California wildfire. Like, this thing just took out its from the track to the outer wall, like within a second. Like, it's just insane. But yeah, so that was the word of the day was fire. And grass fire. I'm sure they took care of it overnight. And like I said, 2 incidents there. Stroll and Hamilton were the ones that were noted for not following race director's instructions. Warnings. That's it. So 55. This takes foreshadowing. Let's go to free practice 3. I'm just running through this. Please stop me if you.
No, you're good.
Like I said, there's not a whole lot here.
I don't have anything down for free practice other than the top 3.
Yep.
And do-hand crash, oof, written on free practice 1, and then an arrow drawn to free practice 2 because I forgot which session it was in.
Free practice 3, starting off with some foreshadowing. Isaac has issue, not talked about. Did not disclose at that point. We'll get to what that was, or at least what we are assuming it was, because it seemed to be the same issue. Just 2 minutes after that, we get another red flag. Guess what? Fire, grass, again. Take care of that. Another 10 minutes lost, 15 minutes lost, I want to say.
Something like that.
Blah, blah, blah. Session goes, blah, 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 blah. Da, da, da. 6 minutes left. Session resumes, blah, blah, blah. Racing, quality sims we didn't get to yesterday. Hot fuel roads people didn't get to, blah, 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 blah. 6 minutes. Hey, there's another fire. Oh, there's going to be a thing, isn't it? And that does basically end the session. Before the grass fire. Only other thing with that, Portoletto drops a tire right before 130R. Not the best place to do that. So managed to get under control. Good moves for the rookie, but yeah, that would have been another major incident for another rookie if he did not recover. He thought he broke something like the suspension or something, and the tire broke, but he just dropped that tire, and much like George Russell, I drop a tire.
Oh, did I drip a tire?
But yeah, just fires and Jack's crash. That was pretty much it. Of course, Yuki and Liam working on their new cars.
Giving it the best.
Oh, I never brought up the thing for the order that we're supposed to go in. Oh, man. We will get to qualifying eventually, like the race and everything eventually.
Tell you what, while you do that to fill in time, unless you already have it.
But go for it.
Oh, okay. That's just for the
Yeah.
order for that. Okay, yeah, no, fair enough. I forgot that you changed the board back to its fucking zero thing. Anyway, we're gonna run through upgrades real fast before we get into quali and all that. We didn't have anything from McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, Aston Martin, or Alpine. Red Bull just had reliability and suspension stuff. Haas reshaped their central floor. Racing Bulls reprofiled the halo shroud, and Williams did a slight reprofile of the front wing and end plate, and Kicksauber changes to the floor body, the main plane of the rear wing, and an updated beam wing. Power units, Max, Yuki, Isaac, and Jack after his crash all took new exhausts, and George took a new energy store and control electronics. And that is it for upgrades this week. Still no gearboxes, which is weird, especially for Jack.
Yeah.
That gearbox should have been fucked.
I think that was implied. The whole thing's gone. Just the entirety of the car.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, no, that's why I was checking our list, because I feel like I breezed over upgrades.
No, you're good. There wasn't a whole lot going on.
All right, let's get into the qualifying session, which it's pain. A little bit of pain.
A lot of bit of pain.
Nothing of note in Q3 besides just your outages.
It's not pain. Lance Stroll.
P20. Yep. Welcome back, Lance Stroll. He remembered who he was.
You remembered. Oh wait, I don't have to try.
Yeah, my seat's good. Then, unfortunately, after only about one running, Jack Doohan is in your P19 spot. Esteban is in P18, P17. Gabriela Portarello, just butchering it completely at this point. And then rounding out your bottom 5 is Nico. I try to do it every time, and I can't. It's Hulkenberg.
Hulkenberg.
Yep. And we did not have a little bit of that issue yet for Isaac. We'll get to that happened a little bit later. Q2, we did have another grass fire. About 8 minutes left. Of course, doesn't really matter because they do stop the clock for that, so they do. And they it seemed like everybody finished their lap before they called it. So I think the fire started, they're like, let's just let them get through. It was the first run, obviously. Everybody's still going to go back out again. And all that. So, wait 10 seconds. It's just a fire. It's not a big deal. But whatever. Fire's out. Woohoo. Way to go, Suzuka Fire Crew. That's hopefully it's the last time you'll have to do it this session. Yes, actually.
Yippee.
And it's, P15, his Red Bull debut, home race. Yuki Tsunoda. Sucks.
Yeah, it hurts.
Now that being said, better than Liam, yes. So we take those.
I mean,
but
not in quali.
Well, better than Liam in the Red Bull last 2 races.
Oh yeah, no, fair enough.
That being
like
said,
overall,
P14, Liam Lawson, we hate that. We take those 2, unfortunately. P13, Fernando Alonso. P12, Carlos Sainz, qualifying there with an asterisk. 11, Pierre Gasly, rounding out. And then your top 10. Oh my goodness, what a Q3 that was. P10, rookie Ollie Behrman in his highest qualifying position of the season so far. P9, your boy Alex Albon.
Is what it is.
Yep.
We'll take it.
P8, world champion Lewis Hamilton. P7, rookie and massive cockhaver, apparently. Isaac Hadjar. So let's get to it.
There's no discussion of what it is the entire time. No one ever fully confirms what is going on completely. But there's a point in the qualifying session where they cut to the driver-facing cam, and there is a mechanic, engineer, somebody that is like bent over the halo or over the side of the car, adjusting something in Isaac's like crotch area, and he's just wincing the entire time. And so the conclusion that we're facing is either he had some sort of medical procedure and there's stitches down there and things are getting rubbed around, or he has just the most massive dick and is just being smushed up against the seatbelt.
So having issues, literally getting squeezed in a very uncomfortable place, sets his highest qualifying with a P7. I said, hey, if you don't want those rumors, VCarb, confirm what happened. If not, that's what we're going with.
Just tell us.
Is that and it's funny because we joked about the first race of Bortoletto getting the specific crotch belt replaced under Parc Ferme. That did not happen this week.
No, it didn't.
They did not replace his, so I guess they got it figured out or gave him a bigger cup or something. Do they have cups? I don't know. I wouldn't think so, but maybe. I don't know. Maybe every ounce of protection they can get.
I mean, fair, but...
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah. Big Dick Hadjar, P7. Kimi Antonelli, the highest placing rookie, with a P6. George Russell ahead of him. Charles Chuck Leclerc, P4. Oscar, birthday Eve boy, in P3. Lando Norris, your P2. And then with just an outstanding qualifying lap. Ha ha ha, you thought it'd be different this time. Max Verstappen with a 1:26.983, a new record for qualifying.
Good job. And I thought it really interesting, just a note that I made throughout the quali sessions. There were pairings of drivers that were just like super, super close on their timings. Like, usually we judge things like, oh, they were, this many hundredths off or whatever. Between Lando and Max was 12 thousandths. Leclerc and George was about 19 thousandths. I think my math's right on that. Kimi Antonelli and Isaac Hadjar were also like in the thousandths range. Lewis Hamilton and Alex Albon were 5 thousandths apart.
Oh wow.
Like, everyone was super close to each other. There would be super close and then distant, and then super close, distant, super close. Really, really interesting in my mind.
I mean, it was a close weekend and a close race. Like, we didn't have a whole lot of movement. Unfortunately, made it kind of a
snore fest, snooze fest, something like that. Words are hard. I'm a human.
Hard. We're also like waited up for race. You've got up early like 2 days in a row or earlier than you normally do.
God, I've been out of it.
There's been an active tornado warning for like 77 hours straight here in the States somewhere. So, and we're weather nerds, so we're watching that close to home for a couple of those.
Yeah.
Relative homes. Yeah, there's your qualifying. Parc Ferme and penalties was a penalty. Impeding for Carlos Sainz on maybe revenge tour against Lewis. So he does drop 3 places starting P15.
Back to the stewards you go, Carlos.
Yep. And it must have made him sick to his stomach.
It sure must have.
Because that was not the only time Carlos... So, yep. He's starting P15. Yuki moves up. Liam moves up. Alonso moves up. Let's go. National anthems. Dropping my book.
National anthems. Get that all set up. There's time frames for all of it. Sainz isn't there. At least not on time. I didn't see if he actually made it or not, but the document said he wasn't there in time.
Yep, I watched it and didn't notice anything weird. So,
I
might have waited to go. I might have waited till the anthem started to go to the bathroom because anthems. Yeah. No offense to the Japanese culture or anything. Just anthems.
Either way, he was fined 20,000 euros, 10,000 of which is suspended for not being in place for the national anthem because of stomach discomfort. The only reason that he got a lesser fine than what would be normal, because I think it's like 60,000 euros is the normal fine on that, The only reason he got it less than is because of the fact that it was a medical issue that he was checking out, and doctor confirmed it that, hey, yeah, no, he was seeking care, and I gave him appropriate medication, but still wasn't there in time, so...
FIA's got to have that steak dinner. Nice, get some
FIA
beef.
said you have to plan for everything. Motherfucker, I might be having a second fucking appendicitis.
All right. I hope you had fun up to here because it's where the fun stops.
Yep. No. Take that back. The fun stops between the formation lap and the first lap. Because I always love the person that they get to do the green flag wave for the Japanese Grand Prix. Oh, it's always so extra, and I love it. It's so great. Because most of the races, the start of the race, they do their formation lap, they line up, the person walks across the track, just waving the green flag, just normal waving, and walks off as they're doing it. Japanese Grand Prix always walks to the middle, all real formal-like, takes it out, gives it a real enthusiastic wave, and then walks off.
And then gets it caught, though, unfortunately. I guess there was maybe some excitement. It did rain earlier. Rain was basically cleared up by the time the race started. No rolling start. Everybody was on there assorted. Hards and medium, all slicks. No inters, no X-wets for sure. So.
Yeah. Track was damp, but not wet.
Yep. And make sure I didn't miss anything. Happy birthday, Oscar.
Happy birthday, Oscar. Yay!
But, yep. So in our lovely book, which we talk about and is link in the description, links in the description on if you're listening, YouTube, the title's in there because it doesn't let you put external links. But, so it has a lap by lap note. I don't have a note till lap 15. And really the only real note is 25. So
I have Antonelli cutting the chicane at lap 2. I have Verstappen complaining about upshifts on lap 3, and then nothing till the pits.
Yep. There was everybody, the only lap, and continuing the I hate Carlos week. So Carlos cut turn 17 the chicane twice. Kimi cut it twice. I think Alex cut it once. Lewis cut it once, and Yuki cut it once. Both times that Sainz cut it in lap 15 and lap 25, he got a noted for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. He didn't gain an advantage.
No, he didn't.
And luckily the FIA agreed because there was no further interaction. But everybody else who went off did not get that same investigation on them.
Yeah, no. I was like, okay, thanks, stewards. That's kind of dumb, but whatever. Also, it did have lap 22/23, the pit stop incident.
Oh, yeah.
Between Max and Lando. So Max has a slightly slow stop. Lando, I think, further up in the pits or whatever, comes out like maybe halfway up Max's car. And as they're exiting, Lando just keeps going onto the grass and then tries to blame Max for pushing him off, even though it's your responsibility to exit the pits in a safe manner.
Yep, and they were all, like, he was definitely, you play the games on the radio.
Oh, absolutely.
He pushed me off. He drove himself off.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was true. Well, no, he did drive himself off. It wasn't true what Lando was saying. I don't blame him. Again, you play the game. Same thing when hockey players, like, I didn't high stick him. It's like, you clearly high sticked him in the face. Like, he's missing 3 teeth. But you got to play the game. But they were joking about it at the end, like, oh, yeah, lawnmower and all that. And Oscar was like, yeah, I just saw grass go everywhere. By the way, I have it noted here. Cooldown room, best cooldown room we've had. Yeah. So good.
No, absolutely.
But, yep, I was like, I was expecting for something else to be noted off of that. Because, it said maybe he turned the pit limiter off a little too soon, so he sped.
Yeah, we were thinking, maybe that's actually
relief.
Maybe I should go back and watch that at some point.
I saw some people like, it should have been unsafe release, but it's racing.
It is
World
indeed
Championship racing. Yeah, I did have that backwards. I thought 22 was the thing and 25 was that. So yeah.
Meh.
Other kind of stuff. McLaren. Depending how you feel, I've always been very vocal about team orders, and I was like, nah, just let them race. But even with this one, like, maybe it's my default bias of I'm an Oscar fan and not so much a Lando fan of like, hey, yeah, let's swap him. I was like, let him swap. If he doesn't get it done within 5 laps, swap him back. But Oscar very much thinking he could get Max there at the end. I'm overlooking the one thing kind of in between there, but my brain is... neural connections are not firing properly today. So
yeah, all good.
Big thing happened in between there during all because the only changes were pit stops. There was maybe 2 actual overtakes. One being Yuki. Let's go. Actually, a couple being Yuki. Youngest race leader of all time. Kimi Antonelli does read the... How long did he lead the race? You have that?
I don't. It couldn't have been more... I could pull up the Wikipedia.
More than like a couple. Like more than Alex did.
Yeah, I was like, I could pull up the Wikipedia. It'll give me the little bar graph.
Yeah, Kimi, the youngest person to lead a race. Now, this was his last race to be the youngest race winner ever. So, unfortunately, Max still has the youngest race winner accolade, as it would have been had to have been today for young Andrea Kimi Antonelli to do that. But he led the race for a certain amount of laps.
He led it for... Oh, wow, that is quite a bit. That is quite large. Like 9 laps? Laps 22 to 31.
That is significant. That is quite large.
Again, though, I don't understand the color scheme that Wikipedia uses. Because I know the other week whenever Alex led it for 1, and then the rest was McLaren boys, they used green for the 2 McLaren drivers, and then they used like blue for... Alex, which made sense, but I don't think it was the right blue. They used orange for Max and red for Kimi.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't understand that, but whatever.
But while we're on it, let's go ahead and jump ahead to... Speaking of Kimi, the reason he got there was he set the fastest lap of the race. Not only that, the track record from Lewis Hamilton. That is a 1:30.965, which beat Lewis's. This book is awesome.
1:30.983.
Yep.
From 2019. Pre-COVID.
Yep. That's forever ago. Now, great. So I guess we did have 2 not races in Suzuka after that, but still 2 races in between then and now where other people could have done it and didn't. So congrats, Kimi. And that's the race, honestly.
That is the race.
Your
per Oscar, that's all the highlights. That's all that happened in the Grand Prix.
Yeah, we learned that in the cooldown room they have a, hey, good job, guys, and had all 3 of their names. Something we've never seen before because there's usually a lot of highlights. Not today.
Nope.
They got the pit lane incident for 6 different angles. But yep. Your Grand Prix winner, Max Verstappen. Haha, you thought it would be different this time. But yeah. All right, that's the episode over.
It's fucking boop.
Yep, it's fine. It's time for the all-time favorite, the rundown.
The rundown. All right. So your winner, of course, Max Verstappen with a 1 hour, 22 minutes, 6 seconds, 0.983. Honestly, that's pretty fast because most races will go hour 30, hour 40, like minimum. Most of them will end up eking into 2 hours. But yeah, really short on that. Second place, Max did not gain or lose any places. Second place was Lando. In fact, I'm just going to blanket this. In the top 10, there was only 1 position swap. So unless I notate it, no one changed places. P2 was Lando Norris. P3 was Oscar Piastri. P4 was Charles Leclerc. P5 was George Russell. P6 was Kimi Antonelli. P7 and gaining 1 spot was Lewis Hamilton. P8 losing 1 spot was Isaac Hadjar. P9 is Alex Albon, and P10 is Ollie Behrman for the last points.
Which I will interrupt you because I noted it and still forgot to say it. Angry Alex this week.
Angry Alex! Oh my god! I love this new, like, fiery over-the-radio Alex. Everything's always just, like, not good enough for him. Like, what are we doing, guys? Maybe it's a James thing. Maybe he's telling him just like, hey, get him into shape. Get him to fucking expect greatness or something. Maybe he's just being a little bit of a dick. But you know what? It's whatever. We'll see if that comes to light any other time. Going on from that, in the non-point scoring positions, Fernando Alonso gains 1 position to finish P11. Yuki Tsunoda gains 2 positions to finish P12. Pierre Gasly loses 2 positions to finish P13. Carlos Sainz gains a position to finish P14. Jack Doohan gains 4 positions to finish P15. Nico Hülkenberg stays where he is and finishes P16. Liam Lawson loses 4 positions and finishes P17. Esteban Ocon stays where he is, P18. Gabriel Bortoleto loses 2 spots to finish P19, and Lance Stroll finishes 1 lap down in P20, right where he started and right where he belongs.
But he got it all right. He started on softs to get as much advantage at the start and didn't do it. And then he pitted early to get an undercut, which didn't happen. And then he
realized that rocket-powered Mohawk is still making videos about it.
That was one of the memes, was like, rocket-powered Mohawk watching this. Woo!
Woo!
And of course, I stole it from you, talking about it earlier, but of course, Kimi Antonelli with that fastest lap.
Woo!
One thing I wanted to sneak in there too. Stop bitching about the complaining tower. Stop complaining about the timing tower.
I was about to say, after you said stop bitching about the complaining tower, I thought you were about to say stop complaining about the bitching tower.
Yeah, no, stop. It takes them a couple times. You should be used to this by now. Yes, they should do better, but they've done a lot good this year.
It's honestly been better than previous years on how quick they've gotten to where they're at.
Broadcast has been on it, so just, you're fine.
Bear with it.
Use your multiviewer like you should be. Not brought to you by multiviewer, but it'd be cool.
It would be. Driver of the day?
Driver of the day.
Driver of the day. I voted for Max Verstappen.
I voted for Yuki Tsunoda because I'm a biased bitch.
That is very true. Your winner of Driver of the Day with 23.7% of the vote is number 30, Yuki Tsunoda. Because, oops. Fucking forgot to switch that file around.
Yep. Got the picture right, got the name right, but not the number in the background.
Good job, broadcast.
Just offended you, broadcast, and you do this to me.
My boy.
Look how they've massacred my boy. Yuki, that was his home race. I get it. Yeah, I mean, I voted for him, but
you're just biased in general.
Yeah. Well, Yeah. But I fixed it in my stars. Don't worry.
Fair enough. With that, driver of the day, so he had 23.7% of the vote. Your others are Max Verstappen with 19.7%, Kimi Antonelli with 13.6%, Oscar Piastri with 7.9%, and Isaac Kajar with 7.0%. All others getting 28.1%. Your pit stops. Fastest one was Ferrari, specifically Lewis Hamilton, a 2.18 seconds on lap 30. And the slowest one was Alpine, specifically with Pierre Gasly, a 4.80 on lap 24. There were only 21 pit stops this race.
Yep.
You're thinking, there's only 20 drivers. Well, yes, because Lance pit twice.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton, and no, it did not work out for him.
Yeah, no, it did not. In fact, it did the exact opposite.
And now, the much-awaited staple of the DSQ podcast. Your 3 stars of the weekend.
Woo!
Go for it.
Go for it? Okay, well, this is going to be kind of rushed because I don't have a whole lot written down for these because it was kind of a boring weekend.
Yep.
So my 3rd star is going to be Yuki Tsunoda. It's a hometown hero driver, gained 2 spots, had a solid race. Good job.
Cool. My 3rd star is Jack Doohan because after that horrific crash, you still come in. You are the highest moving driver when it comes to the overtakes, whether it be on merit or not. +4 spots is +4 spots. Good job, Jack.
piggyback off of that and say my second star is Jack Doohan because after that massive crash in FP1, he was the most improved during the race with the +4 spots. Still favoring that wrist.
Yep, and was reportedly helped out of the car after the race.
So. Helped out of the car with a mechanic and Esteban Ocon, of all people. Hey, bud, I know that Alpine sucks. Yep. Let me get you out of that car. Apparently favoring his wrist, like, finished the race and then took his hand off, that hand off of the wheel. So
not good for Aussies and breaking wrists around these parts.
Because they keep holding on to the wheel when they crash. Let go. Do the Rosberg.
Will not be singing the song. I'll go ahead and shoehorn not that I ever do honorable mentions, but I will go ahead and throw in Esteban Ocon for honorable mention. Help Jack out of the car. Like I said, he knows the Alpine. And he did help, like I was saying last year. If he's not going to help Ollie, he has no business being there. He helped Ollie in this race. He got out of the way. No complaining, at least what we saw. And so, yeah, good job, Esteban. My second star is delusional. I'm giving it to all of RB and VCarb.
Okay.
Because, listen, Hajar had a great race. Max had a great race. Yuki had a decent race, and even Liam had some improvement. So I'm just going to give you all a good thumbs up, and that's it.
I'm not sure if he's drunk, high, or is just insanely ill, but
I couldn't pick just one. I didn't want to give it to Yuki by himself. Isaac did a good job, but I didn't want to give it to him because he still lost his fate. But he did so well. Max is Max, though. Like, I expect this out of Max. Even with this shit car, he's proven that it doesn't matter what he's driving. And I was just... Liam's there, so fuck it.
That being said, my first star is Max Verstappen because do Max Verstappen. There you go. That's all the reason you need. Fucking race winner, pole sitter, lady killer, fucking go getter,
all around guy. Max Verstappen. My number one star is actually Andrea Kimi Antonelli for an outstanding rookie performance, fastest lap, led the race, younger racist to do it, youngest racer to do it. So. Good job, Kimmy. I probably should give you more props last week. You kind of just flew under the radar, so I'll make it up for it this week. Same thing with your driver of the day. Your driver of the day last week was making up because we're going to let Yuki have it, but you'll get your early not condolences.
Is he dying?
Yeah. And then his radio message like, hey, you're doing good. I'm giving it all I got. It's like, yes, you are. Good job, bud. We're trying to help. All right. That is Suzuka. We move on to Bahrain. But one thing that is coming out of this weekend and kind of the main discussion now is that was a boring race.
It was a boring race.
So the question I wanted to do, because I figured we kind of need a little bit of time. We're about 30 minutes, so we usually go longer than this. And it's a discussion that's starting to happen. We've already talked about it with Monaco, is some of these older legacy tracks like Monaco, Suzuka, Imola's the one I put on there, but I'm sure there's others I'm missing. And we think about other races of the past. We don't race at Adelaide anymore. There's a lot of races. We don't race at Paul Ricard anymore. Other Barcelona street tracks, or not Barcelona street tracks, other, we're not racing. Yeah. Nuremberg, all that. It's the Caesars parking lot. Formula One cars advance and are better, and the racing changes, the sport changes. I mean, look at how F1, even over the last, with each new formula that comes out and reg changes and all that. Do we need to do these historic tracks? And I love Suzuka. I do. Do these tracks deserve to stay in their spots? We're coming up on, this is the second year of 24 race seasons. That's so many races. We have to every time. Where it's and it is pretty grueling. We had 2 weeks, a 1 week break. We're in our first triple header right now with Bahrain and Saudi Arabia in these next 2 weeks. Do these legacy, old school technical tracks deserve the spots they still hold? So that's what I wanted to quickly talk about.
Yeah.
And you went in more depth than I thought that I probably did, is what you're saying.
I mean, more than what I did is I just crunched a little bit of the data. That's why it took me so long to get in here to do the recording and everything, as I was spending some time looking at past race results based off of the results and the starting grids, and going based off that. So I looked at Monaco, Suzuka, Imola, and Monza. Because in my mind, Monza is also one of those big, like, historic, this is run almost every year. Out of the 4, it's the only one in the time slot that I picked that ran 4 every year. Everything else had at least 1 year off for COVID or for other reasons.
Natural disaster.
Imola.
Imola specifically, yeah.
Well, more than just the natural disaster for Imola.
Oh, yeah.
So I picked the time frame from 2006 to 2024. It was originally 2025 to 2024, but I suck at formatting, so I got rid of 2025 and just went 2025. I got from 2006 to 2024 because some of these races haven't happened yet, so we'll just use last year's data. Anyways, after crunching all of the data, you have some anomalies, of course, with COVID not giving us a Monaco race in 2020, not giving us Suzuka in 2020 or 2021. Suzuka also not being the race for the Japanese Grand Prix in 2007, 2008, because it went to the Fuji Speedway, but has been every year since. Imola ran 2006 and then was dropped for Belgium until 2020 for COVID, so that they could have more, and then 2023 it was dropped for flooding, and then Monza. Anyways, anomalies beyond that. So, after crunching the data, out of these 57 races that were held, 34 of them, so over half, ended with the pole sitter winning. Of the remaining bunch, 18 out of 57 ended with the winner for the race qualifying within the top 3, and only 5 had someone outside of the top 3 winning. Those 5 races were Suzuka 2006. Alonso won that after starting from P5. He went on to win the championship that year. Second one is Barrichello winning from P5 in Monza 2009. Lewis crashed from P3. Number 3 is Pierre Gasly winning 2020 Monza. All the rest of them are at Monza, by the way. Most of them are at Monza then. So Monza might be kind of interesting, but weird stuff happens at Monza. Pierre Gasly winning in 2020 from P10. Hamilton received a penalty for entering the pits while they were closed after a crash. 2022 Max Verstappen finishing from P7 to win the race. Verstappen won the championship that year, and Verstappen's just a fucking monster. Generational talent. And then the last one was last year in Monza. Leclerc winning from P4. That was just a cursed race. So that race, we had the safety car crash. When, during the race or anything, just fucking demonstration, Bert Mylander crashed the car. That was the first race Colapinto replaced Sargent. That was the race that K-Mag received his one race ban. And you got a rare good strategy from Ferrari that Charles thought was boneheaded, but actually won him the race.
This was a historic one lap, the one stop. Right?
Yeah, the one stop for Monza. Just an absolute cursed race. And he won that one. A lot of the more recent ones are Verstappen. Verstappen starts P1, Verstappen wins the race. And the dude's just generational talent, man. Like, you can't stop that. That's going to happen no matter the track. But when you look at all of the ones where it's not him starting from P1 and finishing P1, Monza seems to be the primary example of, like, hey, all of this is starting from various different parts, but it's different. You don't necessarily have the winner just winning. A lot of that happened in the earlier years of what I looked at. So your 2010 to 2015. There's a lot of Alonso, Vettel, and Hamilton. And most of the names on this list that are winning from pole are Vettel and Hamilton and occasionally Rosberg. So a lot of this is just talent, but also, some of the races are just boring. They're just snorefests because there's not a lot of overtaking. Monaco, I think it could stay, but I think it definitely needs to be almost a, like, if it's going to be a parade, just make that the special, like, livery or whatever race. Like, make that the special race. Suzuka, it's usually interesting, but we've changed that in recent years because we've moved it out of the rainy season. So rain is usually what messed it up.
It's also a multi-time championship decider.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It used to be later on in the year, and it would be right at the end. Hey, here we go. Here's the championship. Imola, there's not a lot of data to get from Imola because from 2007 to 2019, they didn't run it. The one race before all of that in 2006 that was won from pole, it was Michael Schumacher. So it's like it's Michael Schumacher, one from P2, one from P3, Verstappen winning from pole, and Verstappen winning from pole. That's all of your data from Imola. I think it's an interesting track, but I don't know that there's enough data yet to know whether it can or not. Monza definitely seems to be the most sporadic of the bunch. Like, it is all over the place.
I mean, honestly, Monza wasn't on my list for this at all.
No, I know. It is a very fast
simple
track. It is very fast. It is very simple. But it's also one of the historic ones on there. It's the, hey, we run this every year, no matter what. Is the schedule released? Monza better be on there. So, but yeah, just the data crunch of all of that.
Yeah, I agree. It was like, I saw a perspective on it that's everything about Suzuka is 110% besides the race. Actual race itself. Which I can agree with. Like, it's an awesome track. It's an awesome atmosphere. Not that I've ever been. Not that I've been IRL, but if I were to go to a foreign race, honestly, I probably would rather go to one of those races than one of the States races. It'd be definitely the one I would want to go to. Like, it almost replaced my Coda being my favorite track. That's definitely hurt it a little bit. Although I think Coda might also be a little boring from time to time, a lot of the time. But it's like, do we throw history? Should we start really thinking about throwing away quote, just to generalize it, the history for evolution? I mean, think about it. These cars are not the same. You can update to a grade 1 and do this, and there's only so much you can do. And then at a certain point, if you're changing the track so much, is it the track of Theseus, where you've changed so much? Yeah. Or is it even really the same track? Obviously, Monaco is because it's the streets.
Yeah, it is literally just the streets.
And I don't want to take away Charles's home race, but God, even with the two, I guess we'll see if this 2-stop coming up helps. I don't think it will.
I don't think it'll so still either. Be boring. I think it's it's literally just I mean, I guess you could decide whether you want to stop. All right, now run the rest of the race, or if you want to actually like plan out a strategy for it.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I'm not looking forward to Monaco, and that's for it being the Formula One race. When ballpark number, I'll ballpark it and go low side of 80% of your fan base isn't excited for your flagship race. Might be a problem. That's it. I was excited for Suzuka. We'll see. Go for that. Again, Imola's a very technical track where it seems like it's so older, where these new, just the size of the cars don't make sense. It works in Monza because it's a simple track and it's speed.
It is speed.
Barcelona's always an older track, but that's getting replaced. So, it looks like after next season, Zandvoort's not on the calendar. Looks like everybody loves Spa, but I feel like Spa can be.
I feel like it could. Yeah, it absolutely.
But it's going to go what seems like alternating, and that's one thing I saw someone suggest was starting to alternate Suzuka and Monaco. I was like, I don't know about that, but I don't know. And then, what's the answer? More street circuits? No, please. I mean, you got to purpose build, and that's expensive. But But there's still tracks that exist. Max's garage, Max MV's garage, whatever, just did a not just, it was before the season, where every driver had a home race, and even like all the Australians had different Australian tracks. All the two Spain boys had their own Spain tracks. So there's tracks out there to use or upgrade and go, but yeah, it's money.
It is.
We race as money.
Yeah.
So. Which, yeah, I don't know. You want to grow the sport, I think you have to get rid of... If you're worried about a dominant person, to say, single team dominance is going to ruin the sport more than having boring tracks, I think you're wrong. I think your boring tracks are going to kill your sport faster. So, that's just my opinion. Please rip me to shreds in the comments, because it still counts as engagement.
Let's go.
But speaking of boring races, at least last year, episode 1, we called it Ball Rain coming up. Maybe it's different because it's not immediately going from a 3-day, 16-hour practice session to the straight race.
I mean,
but
honestly, maybe better boring Bahrain than a exciting Bahrain circa 2020.
Yeah, well, but was that this configuration, or was it the other configuration? I can't remember because I wasn't watching F1. So
I think it's the same configuration.
I couldn't remember because they did like the smaller one. I couldn't remember what was what.
Oh, I think it's all the same, essentially. Yeah, no, it would be all the same. It happened turn 2 anyways, so like turn 2 to the turn 3.
Yeah, but across to our first Middle Eastern region race of the season, and hopefully it's exciting. Luckily, we're not waking up as early as I think the race is 10 o'clock our time.
I can confirm.
I think it's 10 a.m. next week, and then Saudi's noon for us. So, because Sakira is a dusk race, and then obviously Saudi is a night race. So, I don't know, man.
Bahrain is a 10 a.m. race. So, nice, sleep in, relax.
Have some coffee ready to go, and then eat some brunch after.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said, one of the other good memes I saw was the Aussies waking up for this, the only race that is going to be reasonable for a while, and just the grumpy dog face meme. Yes. Let's move on to Bahrain, unless there's anything else you can think of.
I've got nothing for you.
Yep. Much like the race, we got nothing else for you. That's it, folks.
That's the podcast.
That's it. We're done. Stop asking for more. No, we're not rambling. No yapping.
Follow the pod everywhere at DSQ Pod.